Welcome to the Datafoss Publisher video showcase. Let us imagine a situation where you currently own and control a server which hosts your data. You have decided to move that data to the cloud. As of late, there are two ways in which such a transfer can be achieved. Either by investing into a solution that would use CDC or change data capture, which in turn is rather expensive, or by replicating the entire database several times a day, which again doesn't give you the most up-to-date information. This is where the Datafoss component publisher comes into play. Whether your data is accessed directly from the database or from an exposed API, with Publisher, you will be running a consistent flow of ready-to-digest data packages to your cloud at a fraction of the cost. The publisher itself is based on the create, transform, publish source pattern. This means that for the data provided, it creates necessary business objects by transforming incoming data and publishes them onto the message broker of choice. All of this is done before the data ingestion part even starts, right there at the source. You just plug it onto the source and let it do its magic. Once the data gets run through the publisher component, this newly published data becomes formatted, serialized, compressed, and encrypted. This in turn also significantly reduces the network traffic caused by the transferred data. Alongside that, the encryption provides strong security, meaning that the component can be used on top of both public and private network connections. The architecture itself is fairly simple. You just choose which source you want to plug Publisher onto, run it, and watch as the results appear on the message broker of your choosing. Now this sounds great, but what better way to show you how Publisher works than by running an example? Luckily, our Publisher has its own web UI where you can configure it to work with the source of your choosing. This makes using Publisher incredibly simple. Once logged into the web UI, we move to the Web CLI page. Here, we first choose the YAML file containing our source system configuration, from which the data will be pulled. In this case, our system will be a Postgres database. The data used in our example is mock invoice data, fetched from 3 separate tables, client, invoice, and invoice items, that simulates big transactional databases. Here is what it looks like in the source database. The client table, invoice table, and the invoice items table. We will extract all the data from these tables and create business objects from it. The business objects will contain invoice information grouped by customer. Now in the Web CLI, we simply click the Submit button. Once added, we do the same for the destination message broker, where the data will be transferred to by choosing its YAML file. In this case, we have chosen Google's PubSub message broker. Once each of these is added, we can finally add the final YAML file, which creates a publisher instance, connecting the previously mentioned source to the destination. The business object definition is provided here. This definition contains the query which joins the 3 previously mentioned tables. One more thing to mention here is the where clause of the query, which uses timestamps to filter out the data which is outside of a certain time frame, enabling Publisher to easily make a distinction between new and already viewed data. Once the Publisher instance is added, it automatically starts fetching data from the source and transporting it to the destination broker. If we now press the Instance tab, we can see that our newly created Publisher instance was successfully added, along with its current status, displaying whether it is active or not. Each instance can be turned off and on by pressing the Action button. By clicking the Runs tab, we can see how well our instance performed for a particular run, including metrics such as duration, fetch duration, number of messages, published duration, along with some others as well. The last thing left to show you is the data itself, successfully being transported to the pub subtopic. For that, we open the Google Cloud Platform, open our subscription, go to Messages, and press Pull. And now we can see that the messages were successfully fetched, transformed, and published to our message broker. Many thanks for watching this video. To find out more, please visit www.syntio.net.